Hi guys, so I wanted this to be a live, but I still haven't figured that out yet. So this is gonna just be a spontaneous conversation. World Cup is happening, and somebody told me that after the last video I posted, talk about football. And this video is why I like football as a mindfulness coach. So football is very special. It's called the beautiful game, and I love it because it's a game created by the working class, played by the working class, enjoyed by the working class. It's a through and through working class game, and anybody can play it. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need like thousands of dollars to buy equipment for the game. You can just play with a ball, you know, and enjoy it. So it's a very working class game. It has now been taken over by money interest, and they capitalize it, monopolize it. But at its core, it's a working class game, and that's what we saw. All the protests were about when Super League fiasco came up. That being said, it requires a lot of presence. The moment there's a lack of awareness, a team can concede a goal, and that factor wherein you have to keep running, keep focus, stay on your toes constantly, that and there's a lot of subtext to it. So you can think about the entire game as two kingdoms fighting each other. Goalkeeper is kind of like the king that is protecting their throne, their crown, and defenders are the knights, and there's midfielders that take the resources from the defenders and give them to the soldiers on the front line, and forwarders are the front line. So it's a very tactical game in a way, but it's very play by play. There is a lot of formations. Now, a lot of people that I have seen enjoying the game of football are only watching the ball. And even now, when I was enjoying World Cup with my friends, I noticed that people are glued to the ball. Of course, that's a nice way to enjoy the game. But if you're only watching the ball, you're missing everything else that is happening. I have been watching football for I think 17 to 20 years now. It started with watching Ronaldinho play, and then I got interested. Manchester United is my favorite club, but I've enjoyed a lot of clubs for their philosophy and identity, mostly. Ranieri's Leicester, Bielsa's Leeds, Mourinho's Madrid, Mourinho's Chelsea, and Ferguson's United, of course. So there are a lot of philosophies that go into the game, but at its core, it's about scoring the goal and creating chances. And if you just do that, everything else is secondary. The better team will always be the one that creates more scoring chances, right? Now, there are 11 players on each side. I'm not going to explain the game of football in a lot of depth. Of course, you can, check out tactical analysis for it. But I'll just show you as a mindfulness coach how I view the game and how I enjoy it. I think that's why you are here watching it till now as well. Um, it's a lot about attacking spaces. Okay, you're not attacking the players. All formations do is try to attack spaces and try to create spaces. So the reason 4-3-3 works better against 4-4-2 is because four defenders, four midfielders, there's a lot of space in the middle. And your three midfielders and three attackers fill those spaces, which is why it is so difficult for a rigid 4-4-2 system to compete with a 4-3-3 system, right? So I will go through a lot of terminology for anyone that is a novice here, but you always look at the bigger picture, step away from the ball and see how the players are trying to limit where the ball is. Now, of course, it's 11 versus 11. Goalkeepers always stay in their box, so it's 10 versus 10, right? But there's always another factor there, which is the outside line. Now, outside line almost acts as a player. So what teams try to do is pin the opposition towards the outside line, which restricts their movement, right? So a lot of coaches try different strategies to do it. There is four at the back, there's five at the back. So basically, 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 have four defenders at the back, whereas a 5-3-2 system will have five players at the back. So a 5-3-2 system wherein defenders are on either side of the ground is giving you a defensive shape, but you have wingers, right? So one player is um, responsible for all the plays from the wing, right? All the other players are in the center, right? So one player has to cover the entire wing. So it is good when you are trying to defend deep, but if you're trying to attack a lot, what happens is one player gets caught easily because of numerical superiority. We'll talk about that too. So 5-3-2 is good when it comes to central defensive, but 4-3-3 would be an ideal system if you want to use the wings, because what will happen is you'll have two players on the wings, right? Unless you have an inside forward. So you have two players on the wings that are giving you the width, right? So that's how you stretch the pitch. Like, imagine if your team has players on either side of the pitch. The opposition team will have to, stretch their defense to mark the players, right? Which means there'll be more space in the middle, which can be exploited by us, right? So there are different types of plays that you can see. Every team has two formations. Now, formations are especially very fluid. It's the philosophy that matters, but formations do play a role as well. You can see there's a attacking formation and the defensive formation. So when you have the ball, there's a different way a team is structured. But when you don't have the ball, there's a defensive shape a team is structured in. So every time you see a team having the ball, you'll see their formation has changed a lot, right? Defensive shape also have their types. There's a high block, low block, mid block. So high block is a very high pressing team which is trying to get the ball in your defense. Mid block will have like all the players in the middle of the pitch. Block is basically your crowding an area, right? When you crowd an area, the ball cannot pass through that area easily, right? That's a block. So a high block or high press will try to cluster against your defenders and close the passing lanes, which will make it more easy for them to get ball in your defense, right? Klopp's Liverpool in the beginning is a good example of a high press system. Gegen pressing, I think that was called. So yeah, that's a high press system. Mid block is what you usually see most teams use because it isn't that heavy on the stamina of the players. Sorry, I have a cold. Low block is a defensive way of playing. It is a very counter-attacking way, which Mourinho used to do, still does a lot, which is parking the bus. So you put majority of your players behind the ball, and only one forward remains in the front that is trying to press their defenders on the half line, right? So this is a very risky strategy, but it is very clinical as well. You have to be clinical to, get good results with this strategy because you get limited chances, and then on the counter you try to hit them. Mourinho's Inter Milan did that really well. So okay, that's different blocks, and there are different types of systems as well. Possession system wants to keep the ball and keep it moving. Guardiola tried to do the possession based system. There's direct football, which United was known for before. Now it's iffy, but direct football is trying to score in the least amount of passes. So you get three passes and there's a goal. So that's there. Different systems have different roles. So when you have 4-3-3, um, the three midfielders can have different formations as well. So there are different formations on different part of the pitch as well. There's a single pivot, there's a double pivot. Double pivot is you have two number eights. Number eight is a box to box midfielder. So you have two number eights that can protect each other, and when one goes to attack, another defends. So that's a double pivot, which gives you a defensive solidity. But there's also single pivot wherein there's one number six that wants to spray the ball all over the pitch. Paul Scholes comes to mind. Yeah, so that's single pivot, Ruben Neves. And you have to have a really solid defensive number six to do it. Conte is really good. I love him. Caicedo, Chelsea, really good number six. Chomini, Madrid, really good. So that's a good number six, and that can spray the ball as well as keep the defensive shape and protect the defenders when it comes to counter attacks, right? Okay, what else? So whenever you're watching a match, don't look at the ball, look at all the positions the players are taking around it. Okay. And what you will also see is that when a team is trying to attack, there are patterns of play. Now, that is, a team has practiced a movement with a few players so many times. Now it is just muscle memory, right? And they're just using those patterns of play to, great effect because a person that is thinking and trying to decipher what is happening in the moment will always be one beat or one step behind, right? So patterns of play are very important in the game. Um, so what happens is, these patterns of play are repeatable, and what teams try to do is consistently work on their patterns of play, but they are also exploitable. So what teams try to do is interrupt a pattern of play, or uh, you know, um, because patterns of play are repeatable, predictable, they try to block that pattern of play or use it as an advantage. And this comes with numerical superiority. Now let's get to numerical superiority, because this is the most interesting part of football. Every manager will want numerical superiority in every area, but it is not possible, right? So what they do is they try to make a compromise with it, right? They'll either try to pitch you in the sides of the pitch, or they'll try to, dominate one area and move their numbers to keep that numerical superiority. Tuchel at Chelsea did this, where every time there's a ball with them, they'll move all the players with the ball, right? So the entire block moves with the ball, which is why teams had really difficult time breaking it, right? Because there's always numerical superiority in the block, right? The entire block moved together, and there's a lot of triangles. Now, triangles are very important in the game, and you'll see them when you have seen the game for like 3 4 years. You'll see triangles happening all over the pitch. This is because three players that are not good can beat two players that are exceptional. So if you and two of your friends try to play against country representatives, and there are two players in the middle and three of you are on the sides, but you know what you're doing, the two players cannot have the ball from you, okay? Because no matter how they try to stop the passing lanes, you can always put the ball in the middle or lob it over them. So if you know what you're doing, three players always beat two, which is why there are a lot of triangles, right? And what different teams do is they keep those triangles all over the pitch and move those triangles and form new triangles, and then that's how players connect with each other, and that's where you see relationships between players forming all over the pitch. So this is what you should look for in the game. Look for patterns of play, look for spaces, look for formations, look for how the team is approaching the game. Are they sitting deep, hoping for a counter? Are they only relying on set pieces too much? Arteta uses set pieces a lot for Arsenal. So that's how you see how the game is being approached. Um, a lot of teams try different positions for different players during the game. PSG is a very good example. I think Luis Enrique, if you want to see amazing football, Luis Enrique, I think, is one of the best managers in the world right now. So see his gameplay. Unai Emery, Aston Villa, really good tactics, really good manager. So that's it. That's why I love football. The game requires a lot of presence of mind. You cannot slip for one moment. If your attention is gone, uh, you'll concede a goal. That's how mindful the players have to be in the game. And yeah, I hope you like this video. If you like, please like, share, subscribe. Tell me if you want more videos like this where it's just a conversation. And this is part of a new series that I'm trying to do, which is where I talk about what I like and why I like it. There are still a lot of terms. I have this entire list of terms that I wanted to talk about, but maybe it will be too much. I'm not trying to make a football analysis video. It's just talking about how I see football and why I love watching football. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope you have a great day. And if you're watching the World Cup matches, try to see it from this lens and comment down below if this helped. So take care. Peace.